This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. Missouri lakes offer a wide variety of things to do, including fishing. Whether you're a pro or just a beginner, it's always exciting when you finally get a catch. Rob Garver from the Missouri Department of Conservation is here this morning to tell us more about catfish in Missouri and an upcoming camp you can attend. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about fishing. Can you fish anywhere in the state of Missouri, or are there some places that is not prohibited?
Just about anywhere.
Okay.
And to get a good idea of that, it's always a good idea to check where it is that you want to go fishing. A good place to start to do that is on our website.
Okay.
There's a list of every place that is managed by the Conservation Department, and just about everywhere that you can go fishing is listed somewhere on there.
Okay.
As far as places to go, ponds, whether private ponds or public ponds, lakes and rivers are all great places to catch catfish.
Now, are there different types of catfish, or is it just one? Talk about that.
There are channel catfish, blue cats, and flatheads.
Okay.
3 different kinds, and that's something I wanted to talk to everybody about a little bit today.
Okay.
Is they are different, and there are different limits for them, so it's important to be able to identify your fish.
All right. So obviously you need a permit to go fishing, correct? And does that include everybody, 18 and over? How does that work?
16 to 65, you need to have a regular fishing permit, and that's if you are on the lakes and streams that are in Missouri. Now, if you are fishing on the Mississippi River, you have to have a permit no matter what your age is.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and talk about different ways to fish. First is pole and line. What is that all about? Is it your literally your fishing pole?
Right. Yeah. This is what we call pole and line fishing.
Okay. Now this is a little longer than what I'm used to seeing. Is this specifically to go catfish?
It's a little bit bigger design.
Okay.
If you use bigger equipment, maybe you catch bigger fish. But I've caught very small catfish on a big pole before.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the idea. Is that
Okay.
it's just for this is a catfish type fishing rod.
Okay. Now let's talk about bank poles and then limb lines.
Okay. Bank poles, which is one of my favorite things to do. Bank poles is a method where you're actually sticking your pole into the bank and you're leaving it there for a period of time, and then coming back and checking that line. So in Missouri, we've got different regulations, and as I said, you need to check the regulations depending on where you go because they can be different. But statewide, you can set out 33 hooks at a time, and they've got to be checked every 24 hours.
Okay.
So I can take this out around here, for example, the Sheridan River, shove this down in the bank.
And just leave it?
Yeah, and then there's a hook down here on the end.
Okay.
Put my bait on it, let it drop, and let it hang in the water, and then come back and check it. Now, I said 24 hours is what the regulation is, but you want to check it a little bit more often than that.
Right. Now, I noticed you have your name on there. Is that just for personal preference, or is that required on these poles?
That is required. If you're going to leave your poles out, if you're going to put poles in the bank, and we've got some other methods to talk about, you have to label them one of 2 ways: either your name and address, or your conservation ID number, which would be on your fishing permit.
Okay. Now let's talk about throw lines or trout lines.
Okay.
Or trot lines.
Trot lines, yes. That is very common, and depending on where you go, people say it differently. But this is an example of a trot line. This is just a manufactured one that you can buy, or you can make them on your own. You can buy the line.
Okay.
You'd use a heavier duty line to attach to, say, a tree or some part of the bank, and then run it out into the water with a weight on the other end, and you could have several hooks hanging off of that same line. And then the same concept as the bank pole. You're just going to put your bait on it and come back and check it.
Okay.
And then the other one that's very similar to that is the limb line. And I like to use these as well. There are lots of different lakes that you can use these on. If you have trees and stuff that are hanging over the water, you will hook one end onto the line. You've got a weight on it, and then your hook just dangles down in the water, and you come back and check it the same.
Interesting.
So.
Now, what is this for?
That is, it can be used for a couple different things. I like to use these for setting out lines and leaving them and coming back and checking them. I've got a little weight here as an example. I'll hook some sort of carabiner clip onto the weight, hook this on there, and then there'll be a little drop line that's got a hook on it. And so this jug is floating out in your lake or your pond or whatever, and then you come back, and if there's a fish on it, you can see that jug kind of moving around a little bit, and the weight is keeping it in place. An alternative to that is that you do it without the big weight on there. You have to be present with your jugs if it's not weighted. And so you can put out your 20 or so jugs out in the water, and you're in a little boat or something like that, and then you can throw them all out there and you can watch them. And as they start to run around, you got to go catch them and catch your fish. So
interesting. Now, what about people that want to catch with their hands, noodling? That's not legal, right?
That is not a legal method in the state.
All right, just wanted to clarify that. Now, really quickly, before we run out of time, you do have an upcoming catfish camp taking place next month, so tell us more about that.
Catfish camp is something we've been doing for several years in this region. We go over to the Mississippi River, and it allows us to get out and take families to learn how to do these types of different methods. I wouldn't say it's a beginner's course. It's for people that think that they're probably gonna want to start fishing on the big river. It's just a different beast over there than it is in our ponds and streams. And so we take these methods and try to apply them to that clinic.
Okay, and if anybody's interested in attending, how do they go about registering?
They can call our office and sign up, or they can send me an email, and you'll have that stuff posted, right? Send us an email or give us a call, and we will have a registration form for you to fill out. It used to be we picked up the first 10 or 15 families that we could, and we're getting so many in now that we actually have an application process.
Okay, perfect. So what we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and we'll link up the information with Rob at the Missouri Department of Conservation. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.